Elon Musk is making some absolutely massive moves this year and getting more and more involved in culture wars as well as this election. If you didn't hear the news, the Wall Street Journal reported this, that Elon Musk was donating $45 million a month to Donald Trump's campaign. Well, it turns out this is actually false. And part of the reason why I'm talking about this is actually I talked about this earlier this week. And so I wanted to amend the myth because I don't want to be fake news out here. But what Elon Musk did say, however, which is still really, really significant, and I'll tell you why, which is that he is still politically, he's going to be giving $45 million to a super PAC that he formed. And how super PACs work is super PACs are essentially is an organization where people can give to that and they can then do things on behalf of campaigns for an unlimited amount of money. And the reason why that's significant is because you can only give a limited amount, I think like $3,000 to $4,000 to a politician, right? And so $3,000 from Elon Musk, not a lot of money. $45 million a freaking month is a ton of money. And so is he donating that directly to Donald Trump? No. But what he said in a recent interview with Jordan Peterson, I'm going to show some of it in just a second, is that he has started something, I think it's called the America PAC. It was something along those lines. But essentially what he told him was that he wanted to create this PAC that it's nonpartisan, it's not tied to a candidate or a party, but it is money that is going to go towards essentially the campaign, or to, not necessarily directly the campaign, but getting the vote out for people who are America first. And so obviously, the motivation for Elon Musk is what's important. That's kind of what I want to show you in this video right now. Why is he doing this? And I think that this interview with Jordan Peterson about his son and transgenderism and what's going on in his family is a really good representation of what is driving him to donate so much money. So without further ado, take a look at this video.
Well, it happened to one of my older boys, where I was essentially tricked into signing documents for one of my older boys, Xavier. This is before I had really any understanding of what was going on, and we had COVID going on, and so there was a lot of confusion. I was told, Xavier might commit suicide if he.
That was a lie right from the outset. No reliable clinician ever believed that. There was never any evidence for that. And also, if there's a higher suicide rate, the reason is because of the underlying depression and anxiety and not because of the gender dysphoria. And every goddamn clinician knows that too. And they're too cowardly to come out and say it. Right? And so and then we end up in exactly, when I saw that lie start to propagate, it just made the hair on the back of my neck stand up. It's like, I see. So you're telling parents that unless they agree to this radical transformation that their children are going to die, and you think that's moral, and you think that's true. That is so pathological that it's almost incomprehensible. I can't imagine anything worse. I can't imagine a therapist doing anything worse than that, or sitting by idly and remaining silent while his colleagues are doing it. It's pathetic.
It's incredibly evil, and I agree with you that people that have been promoting this should go to prison.
So you can see there his motivation. When something like that, which is so awful, happens to you and you feel duped in that way, and again, he has a PhD in psychology, which doesn't always mean something, but I do think that it does hold some weight, and I think that Jordan Peterson is incredibly honest. He's really not a conservative either, but he happens to fall kind of on the right on this issue. You have two people who are saying that this is total crap, and it's very clear why Elon Musk would donate so much money to a super PAC. So to be clear, $45 million a month is going to the super PAC from Elon Musk, and much of this is probably going to go towards helping Donald Trump this year because from what Elon Musk has said, again, he hasn't said this explicitly, but we can surmise from what he said that Donald Trump, in his mind, is the America first candidate. So, and by the way, the distinction is important because Elon Musk is essentially aligning himself with a principle instead of a person. And I actually support this big time because he's literally saying he puts America first, that the America first agenda over Donald Trump, which, by the way, everybody should do that. If you're voting for Donald Trump, really cool. That's awesome. But as a lot of his supporters, I mean, it's one thing Vivek Ramaswamy has been, and no one's more pro-Trump than Vivek Ramaswamy. He said America first doesn't belong to anybody, doesn't belong to him, doesn't belong to Donald Trump. It belonged to we, the American people. And I think that's very true. And so to create the super PAC that is for the principle, not a candidate, I think is really smart because we want America first to outlive Donald Trump. So, again, in America, we get really excited about our politicians, which is cool. But at the end of the day, we should have our allegiance to principles, values over people. And I think that's what Elon Musk is trying to accomplish. Who knows if the super PAC is going to go in the way that, I would like, but I think for this election, I think it's going to do a ton of good things for Donald Trump. And so these super PACs, again, I'm a fan of them. I think that super PACs get a lot of heat and a lot of bad things, but I think they can be really effective tools. And, if you hate them so much, start one that goes towards the principle that you like. That's what Elon Musk did. Obviously, no one can donate $45 million a year to it, but, you could start something. That's all I'm saying. Maybe I'll do it. I don't know. But one thing I do have to say about the reporting on the story and the gaffe that the Wall Street Journal had. Again, the Wall Street Journal, very credible in terms, I say credible with, quotations because the mainstream media is really not credible at all. But in the eyes of the world, I suppose you could say it's considered to be one of the more credible ones. It only highlights more the way that the media, the mainstream media, is just getting phased out. It's not going to be a part of our culture. All it took was Elon Musk to simply post on X and clarify what happened. The citizen journalism that can happen on social media, especially when it's a free speech platform like X, is just massive. And on YouTube as well, being able to report like this in such a accessible manner where it's free. Again, YouTube, not always free speech. I don't even know if I can say that on here, frankly. They're probably going to get mad at me. Not always free speech, but if they were, that would be so powerful. I think that's what X brings to the table. But I said for a long time, again, I think the legacy media is going to crumble. I think this is another example of that. So in addition to getting politically active in this election, Elon has also been involved in several lawsuits against woke corporations. One of these corporations is Disney. Disney is being sued by Gina Carano, the former star of The Mandalorian, and she's backed by Elon Musk. So Elon Musk is paying for this lawsuit. He's probably got the greatest lawyers in the world, so this is huge for Gina Carano. If you didn't hear what happened to her, I'll just give you a really quick synopsis. Gina Carano was fired for speaking out against Black Lives Matter. She said a couple things about the LGBTQ movement and the crap that they were pushing. People called her racist, homophobic, but the last straw was that she posted, again, this is kind of weird. If you go look at the tweet, it's super tame. She posted something about political tension in America and how it's reminiscent of Nazi Germany, of how people she's basically speaking to cancel culture. She's saying, if you cancel someone for their beliefs, you're no better than the Nazis rounding up the Jews. Do I totally agree with that statement? No, I think rounding up Jews was different, okay? But Disney fires her for that. And when this happened, again, Pedro Pascal, if you don't know who this guy is, Pedro Pascal is he's an actor. He plays the Mandalorian in The Mandalorian. He just told her to post #transrights on social media to appease the fans, to appease people, which just shows you, by the way, how tribal and fake Hollywood is. But fast forward to today, and a court just denied Disney's motion to dismiss the case, which is absolutely massive. So we're going to be able to see Gina Carano and Elon Musk's lawyers, which, by the way, they've never even met, Gina Carano and Elon Musk. So this isn't some sort of buddy-buddy sort of deal. They've never met. He's just inspired by the cause. We're going to see them duke it out in court. It's going to be absolutely fascinating. And the reason why this case is so important is because it might mean that companies stop being so woke. It's what we all hope, right? We want to see the great Pixar movies of our childhood. We want to see the great Disney content, the Marvel content, the Star Wars, all of it. I want to see great Star Wars and Marvel again. And we're already seeing companies ditch DEI. You hear a different story almost every day. I've reported on some of them, where a company has kind of determined that DEI is just no longer important. And that's a huge win. And when it gets them into legal trouble is when conservatives win. And so, sure, the culture wars are important, but actually bringing brass to the table, actually fighting it out in court, that is what's going to stop the DEI crap, the ESG crap that is infecting not just media companies and entertainment companies, but just all of corporate America. And again, it's awesome that Elon Musk is actually, partnering with people. In a way, him staying disconnected from Gina Carano is kind of awesome. I almost feel like I don't want them to meet because it shows his commitment more to the principle than to elitism. The thing is, too, Gina Carano really isn't conservative. She's not really political. She's just a normal person. I think Elon Musk is the same way. I don't think he's ever really wanted to be political. The left loved him mostly because of EV vehicles until like when he bought X and championed free speech, because they hate free speech. They absolutely hate it because their principles cannot thrive in a free marketplace of ideas. It literally cannot, because everyone knows it's crap. So the only thing that they can do is censor. So Gina Carano, Elon Musk, like, they're in the same boat with that. But what Elon and Gina Carano see, I think, is what a lot of people are seeing in our country, which is that one side hates our country and wants it destroyed. And they'll say this, they literally want to upend it, tear it down brick for brick, and rebuild it. And the other side is America first. And it's not a question of being a member of a party or like, political candidate. It's not as simple as that. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is people literally look and they say, is that politician working for me? Or is that politician working for the 1% that's a transgender person who wants their pronouns forced on everybody? Or is that politician working for me or for Vladimir Zelensky? It really is that simple, I think, in a lot of people's minds. And there's, I think, the ravine between that group that's America first and the group that is just for everybody else, really. I think that ravine is larger than it's ever been. I think that's why there are Gina Caranos and Elon Musks that are doing this. Elon is sick of it, Gina is sick of it, and obviously Americans are sick of it as well. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. Please go down below, comment, like, and subscribe, and watch another video.